Thank you. And members, we do have somebody here to testify. If y'all would like to go out of session, we'll go out of session without objection to hear from Heather Thomas. Heather Thomas. And just make sure your red light's on. You'll have 3 minutes. If you'll just state your name and who you're with, and we'll start timing just as soon as you start talking.
My name is Heather Thomas. I'm a Williamson County resident and a lifelong Tennessean. I'm an entrepreneur, a wife, a mother, a Christian, and happen to have a transgender son. HB 2310 is not necessary. There are already other laws and multiple hoops to jump through that require parental consent. This body speaks a lot about parental rights, and parents often depend on a community of folks to raise their families, transport them to and from school, doctor's appointments, etc. This bill could strip them of those rights. For instance, who's included in this bill? Grandparents, step-parents, aunts, uncles, brothers and sisters? What about single-parent homes where one parent is absent? What about parents with disabilities who are homebound? What about transportation companies, airlines, trains, buses? Can doctors talk about options of care? I know in this amendment you didn't talk about that, but those are other parts of it. We're just regular families who work with, go to church with, have as neighbors, and whether you agree or not, you've already stripped us of our ability to care for our children, even though every major medical association supports such care. We stand and say the pledge, and the last 6 words are with liberty and justice for all, but this is not what this bill represents. Liberty is defined as the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority on one's way of life, behavior, or political views. We are not only Tennesseans, we are Americans, and if our state won't provide the care our families need, we should have every right to seek help in whatever way we choose elsewhere. I can tell you that my child would not be alive today if it weren't for gender-affirming care. Parents and children are facing increasing hostility in Tennessee due to the misinformation and false narratives being spread about the trans community. Statistically, transgender people are some of the most vulnerable and least threatening members of our population. From this legislative body alone, I've heard and been called a child abuser, an indoctrinator, a pedophile, and for the record, people don't and can't persuade someone to turn or be gay or trans. There's an undeniable correlation to those who have mental health issues, not because they are transgender, but because they are othered, treated as lesser, bullied, and violently victimized. I want you to understand that there is a direct line from what this legislature is doing to the mental health of our struggles of the trans community. Every time a trans person is murdered, you are part of the trail of hate that led there. For every trans person that self-harms, you are complicit in that. Your words and laws not only defame people, but they also dehumanize them. Matthew 19:13 says, "Let all the little children come to me and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of God belongs to such as these." Jesus would be flipping the tables if he were here today. When is enough cruelty enough with liberty and justice for all?
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Members, we have any questions for Ms. Thomas? All right. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your testimony today. Without objection, we'll go back in session. Representative Ritchie, you are recognized on House Bill